welcome to Bodhi IT. We are the best IT leading software online training institute. Today we are going to discuss on CyberArk. As a part of introduction, these are the topics that we are going to discuss today. So the topics are going to be privilege accounts, attack lifecycle, CyberArk protection, layers of security in digital world, sample CyberArk protector structure. I'll show you the architecture, how it is going to protect the applications or privilege accounts. As a part of initial slide, we have to know what is a privilege account. So I will say this with an example. If you take a file will be having three sorts of permissions. One is read, the other one is write, and the third one is execute. Did you check it in any of the file? Go to Windows, right click on that file or a folder. You will see three types of permissions: read, write, and execute. A user who is having all the three permissions like read, write, execute is the privileged user for that particular file or folder. For example, if you take Windows machines, administrator is a privileged user in that Windows machine who has all the permissions to the C drive and all the files in the C drive with the read, write, execute permissions. When you take another user, you can decrease these permissions. Those are non-privileged accounts. So how are we going to differentiate a user account and a privilege account is with respect to these authorizations that we are going to give. If you take a web application also, a user will be having less authorizations with respect to that application. Or if you go to a privilege account, that is an administrator account of that application, he'll be having all the authorizations. Like he can create some pages, he can do configuration settings of that web application. So a privilege account is nothing but a authorized user who is having all the authorizations on that particular mission or an application. So this is how we differentiate a user account and a privilege account. So where does this privilege accounts present? So we can say in the firewall, that is in the network accounts. There will be in the storages. There will be in the servers like Unix servers, Windows servers. There will be in databases. There will be in any endpoint. For example, if you take database sys as sysdba, how many of you know this? Sys as sysdba. Sys is the super account of the database. You can do any alter command using sys user. So whoever user is there in that sysdba group, he'll be having permissions to change the passwords or to change the to alter any table or to alter any column in that particular database or in that particular schema. Okay, if you take Linux machine, a root is a privileged account. If you take Windows, administrator is a privileged account. So root, if you take Linux, a root in root group, right? So whoever user is there in that root group also, he will be the administrative privileged user. He will be having all the permissions in the Linux. If you create another user, like think that we created a user like user 1 who is not in root group, try to install an RPM. He can't install that. It will say that access denied. So the authorization is less for that user, right? Try to delete a user, try to delete a file, sorry, try to delete a file who is where root is the owner for that file with user 1. It will say that access denied because you're not having permissions denied, because the user 1 which was created in the Linux machine is not having permissions to run the command, right? So that is the unauthorized user. So a privileged user will be having all the accesses. Okay, so as a part of next slide, what we can do is we can go with the attack lifecycle. Think like a hacker now. So if you're thinking like a hacker, how are you going to hack a machine, a Windows machine or a Linux machine? Will you go for a privileged account or will you go for a non-privileged account? From my side, I will think the impact has to be high so that I can get more money, or I can make the service of that company to be down for 1 hour or 2 hours, so that the impact is high. Think that Amazon is down for 2 hours, how much impact that they are going to have. So as a hacker, I will think of a privileged account instead of a non-privileged account. To get the privileged account details, initially I have to go with the non-privileged accounts. So the hacker may be a insider who is already working in that company, or he may be a external person. So you can see it in the life cycle. There is a network parameter. There is a network parameter, and if the hacker is coming out of that network parameter, then it is called an external threat. Or if the hacker is already working in that company, then it will be an insider threat or internal threat. So he is an insider. If he's coming from extranet, I mean outward network parameter, then he's a external, then it is going to be an external threat. So any hacker is going to try to compromise means get the hack the particular privileged account. So he's trying to compromise or escalate the privileges. So how he will do is, he will first go with collecting the data. He'll go with collecting the data. So here the word collecting the data refers to record reconnaissance. It is called reconnaissance. Okay, so reconnaissance refers to collecting the data. So initially he will go with non-privileged account. There he will collect the account. There he will collect the data. From there he'll go to another account. Slowly he gets to move to multiple accounts, and that movement is called lateral movement. So the first step the hacker tries to do is collect the data. So what he's going to do? He going to do reconnaissance. He's going to do reconnaissance. So after collecting the data, he will do a lateral movement. He will do a lateral movement. That means he will compromise multiple systems. From one system to he will move to other system. From one system to he will move to other system. Right? So he will do a lateral movement, and then at last he is going to get when he gets the privileged accounts, he is going to do the data exfiltration. He is going to do data exfiltration. Data exfiltration means moving the data to the external parameter. Moving the data to the external parameter. So here we can say there are three steps. First is reconnaissance. Second one is lateral movement to many systems, and the third thing is data exfiltration. So before doing data exfiltration, he's going to get the privileged accounts. That means he's going to compromise the privileged accounts. So the topic today is on CyberArk. So how does CyberArk, or where does CyberArk protect or breaks this life cycle is very important. Okay, how does or where does CyberArk break this life cycle? Okay, so if I go down in the other slide, we can see while entering into any mission, CyberArk is going to be as a bridge. So any user, if they want to access any server or database or a web application or any mainframe system, from CyberArk he is going to access the missions or targets like Linux, Windows, or database, or it is going to be a web application. So from there, so collecting the data will be stopped. How? Reconnaissance is going to be stopped. So how it is going to stop means, CyberArk has a different components, which will record everything, or which will stop the running a command in that particular mission. So he can't connect the data. For example, for collecting the data, I can use a simple ping command. So what can I do is I can block the ping command in each and every mission using CyberArk. And how it stops the lateral movement. So to move from one mission to other mission, I need to escalate or compromise many passwords. Here every password is under the hand of CyberArk. CyberArk is going to store the passwords of each and every privilege account in Vault, and it maintains the password management using a component called CPM. It can change the password, it can reconcile the password, it can verify the password. So we can keep a periodic change. For a hacker to hack a password, think that it takes 1 week. Okay, so 1 week the hacker changed the he got before 1 week he got the password of a privileged account. What is going to happen is the password can be changed automatically by CPM, Central Policy Manager. So doing the lateral movement, CyberArk is going to stop it, and before entering into the privilege account, CyberArk will stop it. So in this life cycle, at 2 points CyberArk is going to stop. One is at stopping the hacker without doing the lateral movement, and other one is entering into the machine, initial stage of entering into the machine. Okay, so we can discuss the topic of Vault and CPM or connecting to the target mission using PSM in our classes. Let's join our class. You can see all the details of this CPM, Vault, PVWA, PSM, the components of CyberArk. Okay, so how does it stops? I will just say the three things: lock down the credentials. It will lock down the credentials of the target mission. It will isolate, control the sessions when I'm connecting to the target mission or the end mission. For example, I have any doubt on the hacker got connected to the target mission. What I can do is I can terminate the session. I can terminate the session. So I have the control on the end mission. That is user sessions. On each and every user session where the user logged into the target mission, and continuous monitoring. I can see the live session 24/7, 365 days of that particular end mission. So how does CyberArk control means? You can say these three things: lock down the credentials, isolate and control sessions, and continuous monitoring on the target missions. So the next topic is going to be on the layers of Digital Vault. So Digital Vault is the main core component of CyberArk. Vault, we call it as a vault. This is from a banking domain that we got this terminology. So it has 7 layers: hierarchical encryption, tamper-proof auditability, comprehensive monitoring, segregation of duties, firewall, authentication, and session encryption. With these 7 layers, it is going to protect the passwords of privileged accounts. Okay, so we will be discussing on these 7 layers when you join the class. Just join our class and you see the difference in the training. So this is a sample structure. Here you can see database, Unix servers, Windows servers, routers, and storage XKC devices, right? And with respect to when you want to connect this to this target missions, you are going to connect through CyberArk. See, if you see the life cycle, initially, if you want to connect to any escalate privileges means any target mission, CyberArk is the initial part. So if you go back, so connecting to any of these missions, you are going to connect through CyberArk, and Vault is the main thing, and these are few of the components of CyberArk: web portal, PSM, CPM for password changes, session recordings. PSM does that, privilege session manager does that. Okay, so this is a sample structure. You can find this structure in Google too, no problem regarding that. So we can go with DMZ and non-DMZ zones with respect to this CyberArk implementations. Thank you. Join us on Bodhi IT, and you can see 80% technical hands-on in our training. Thank you.